Hi, Todd Pouliot, Gateway Financial. Visit us at mygatewaymoney.com. I wanted to give you this exciting video today since we just had a $1 billion winner, not a million, a $1 billion lottery winner. I thought I would do a wonderful checklist that talks about what issues I should consider with a sudden wealth event. And in lieu of the lottery winnings, we have to consider other sudden wealth events, and those could be leading to a tremendous financial windfall that could be a sale of a business, real estate, an inheritance, obvious the lottery winnings that are there, or a large legal settlement. And this increase in wealth, which is usually unexpected, large, or sudden, requires thoughtful planning. It's a critical time for us to provide guidance and value to our clients that have this unique opportunity, and it may make a significant positive impact on their lives. So in this checklist, I'm going to cover a few main areas for you. We're going to look at the nature, timing, and terms of the wealth event. We're going to look at the cash flow impact, liquidity considerations, tax planning matters, and long-term planning opportunity. So here we are. We're going to share those screens with you again so we can look at our checklist and look at cash flow. I know there's a tremendous wealth event, but how it happens can in fact impact that cash flow. So do you need to set aside cash or make a plan to fund any income tax liability that may result from this? So make sure you have a CPA like we have access to for our clients to talk about what is the plan on the taxation of this vehicle that you've just received, be it an inheritance, be it a sale, legal settlement, what have you. And do you plan to make any large expenditures in the near term? Obviously, here we are in 2022. We've had a volatile market. We want to make sure we're holding adequate cash to fund the upcoming expense. Do you need to revisit your routine spending habits? Sometimes they can get a little out of line when we see people have extra funds or extra wealth. And are you able to save more? Obviously, we always have extra checklists for you to check out. What account should I consider if I want to save more? Obviously, this really goes into the tax planning as well as the cash flow here. And will it affect any regular expenses that are tied to income? Tax, financial aid, student loans, and Medicare costs. Don't forget IRMA, those automatic adjustments that happen with the income increases. Asset and debt issues. Did you receive illiquid assets? Did you get notes, real estate, or interest in a private company? Consider how to manage those assets and potential strategies for divestment and diversification. Again, you don't want all your eggs in one basket. Did you receive cash? Consider how much you're willing to invest for long-term growth. The sound investment strategy, we really want to make sure that that is all laid out. What issues should I consider when reviewing my investments checklist? Another wonderful checklist for you. Does the wealth event have foreign source? Don't forget about the reporting requirements. Again, working with a qualified CPA or tax preparer. And are there any conditions that must be met to keep up the new financial interests? So make sure we understand those conditions that are part of the wealth or the sudden event. Asset issues continued. Do you have any debts? Consider any credit card debt, pay off the balance, prioritizing cards with higher interest. Want to get out of debt as soon as we can. I don't like seeing debt. Student loans. Again, understand your repayment options and the effects of those balances in a lump sum. Again, what issues should I consider when paying off my student loans checklist? Do you have a mortgage? My last video, believe it or not, was about mortgage payoffs. Compare the merits of paying off in a lump sum or making an increased monthly payment or maintaining the status quo. Again, that's not always a black and white answer, but that video was wonderful about paying off mortgages. Did you receive a gift or inheritance of non-cash assets? Understand the cost basis of the assets in your hands and the future tax consequences. I'll tell you, it's wonderful when somebody comes in and they've received a large trust and it's wonderful news for them. But how do they move out of those assets without paying it all in taxes in 1 year? Having a really good plan for that matters. And I tell you, I appreciate when people listen and get educated on how to handle those assets and the future tax consequences of those assets. Have you made loans to family members? Consider the gift and income tax consequences associated with any forgiveness of payments or loan balance. Real good way to look at that. Not obviously coming out smelling like a rose to a fellow family member could be wonderful. Insurance. Have your life insurance needs changed? If you put policies in place to replace your income or eliminate debt of your untimely death, review how these newly acquired assets might reduce those needs. Also, if your increase in net worth exposes you to federal or state estate taxation, look at utilizing life insurance to fund your liability. So it may be one or the other. I don't need the life insurance anymore, or I do need life insurance now, or I may need to increase my life insurance because of the way that things go. That's what's great about financial planning, is allowing you to pivot in case we do have these sudden wealth events. Does your wealth increase expose you to lawsuits? I would say the answer is probably yes. Consider an additional umbrella insurance protection, very low cost way to protect you from any liabilities. Are you able to control the timing and terms of the wealth event? So for instance, that $1 billion lottery winner could have taken a cash option or a yearly payment. Obviously the cash option is, a bird in the hand versus two in the bush, but how much are they going to pay in taxes? Obviously, that was such a large irregular lottery winning, but we want to know the payout options. So those transactions can be strategically stretched across tax years. Tax liabilities is not a 1 year solo event. You want to look at not only paying the lowest taxes for 1 year, yes, that's appropriate, but paying the lowest tax for your entire lifetime. Will the wealth event have ordinary income tax consequences? Inherited traditional IRAs. Remember, RMDs are due, bonuses, severance pay, certain settlements. How is this all going to work together? This is why tax prep is one thing, tax planning is a very important thing. If tax is not withheld, reserve adequate cash to pay income tax and make the estimated payments if necessary. You don't want to pay those penalties. If you're on Medicare and you are above the IRMA limits, you might be subject to Part B and D surcharges in 2 years. Remember, Medicare is a 2-year look back. And do you have net investment income? And if the income increases your modified adjusted gross income, you may be subject to the net tax. So you want to make sure it's not just one part of the tax code you need to worry about. It's several, and coming up with a coordinated tax plan is very, very important. Also, capital gains, those consequences of capital gains, understand what those rates are, and consider harvesting losses to offset the gains. So that instance from before with the estate, the trust moving on to the beneficiaries, what a wonderful time to take advantage of those opportunities with the market correction. Do you want to reduce your taxable income, minimize and stay below certain thresholds? Pre-tax, retirement plans, and FSA, HSA, and charitable giftings. Wonderful ideas. I love utilizing that with the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation. Now that's tax planning, and boy, we could spend an entire video on that, and I don't want to hold you up on that, but long term, we need to figure out, is it enough to dramatically impact your financial position? Some people say, well, gee, I'm not going to get involved in the lottery until it gets to a certain number, or selling a business until it gets to a certain number. Reevaluate your overall financial plan in light of the change in your circumstances. Adjust appropriately your risk tolerance and time horizon. Hopefully, Risk tolerance is something you've been taught, but also learn what risk capacity means. You may have much more risk capacity now in light of a change in risk tolerance. Adopt wealth preservation strategies that are tailored to your new situation. And do you have children or grandchildren? Consider those 529 accounts or an education trust. What issues should I consider to fund my child's education? Checklist is very appropriate here. And do you need to look at your estate plan? Again, holistic financial planning should include estate plan. Financial information for your attorney and the disposition and possible taxation of your estate at death. Do you want to make gifts to your family and friends? So here we are, and this year, the annual exclusion amount is $16,000 per year per donee. So if you have a spouse, you can double that. So make sure that's available to you as well. Are you charitably inclined? Obviously, my wife and I with the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation, you can make direct gifts to charities or a donor advised fund or another advanced strategy such as charitable trust. Private foundations can reduce that income tax liability and fulfill your philanthropic goals. It's a wonderful way to take care of tax planning and also do good and do well for others. Also, will it be publicized? So, and for instance, of this lottery, possibly your business sale might be in the paper. Make sure you understand what it means. So there's the lottery. Look at protecting your privacy. Don't forget frauds and scams. I write a lot of articles on that on our Facebook page and LinkedIn and social media and our blog about fraud that's going to occur. You will become a target very, very quickly. And be prepared to address requests from friends and family members for financial assistance. Have a good plan for that. Talk about that with your spouse and your financial advisor so we can help educate you on how to have these conversations and fulfilling your wishes as a client. Do you need to increase protective measures, whether physical or cybersecurity measures are warranted? And any state-specific issues that you may have. What a great topic to discuss. I love talking about sudden wealth events because usually people come in here smiling. Unfortunately, those smiles turn upside down when they see the taxation on some of these assets that they've accumulated. And that's why looking at how to structure the sudden wealth event, the terms of the sudden wealth event can be really marred if you don't sit down with a really good financial professional and say, hey, the sale of the business is happening. Maybe instead of doing it as a lump sum payout, you can annuitize that over a 10-year payout period, help reduce taxes, have some control over those assets. It's a wonderful discussion topic. We'd love to have you join us here at Gateway Financial. Visit us at mygatewaymoney.com. Connect with us, and you have a wonderful day and be well.